Good evening, wherever it is you may be listening, however it is you may be listening. Welcome to another episode of Sports Euphoria. I'm your host, Dave. I'm going to be joined by CJ in a little bit, one of their co hosts. This is the Week 12 review and waiver wire episode. As always, every Tuesday or Wednesday, this is going to come out. If you hear me interacting with anybody on Twitch or Facebook or live with people answering questions, that's what I do. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, um, I do go live on Twitch at Sports Euphoria and on Facebook as well beforehand, before this episode goes live. But we're just gonna be reviewing the Week 12 in the NFL, going over our weeks, our personal weeks. CJ wasn't on for the preview episode, so I'll have the my good calls and my bad calls. If we get CJ on for a preview episode, we'll see what his calls are and if they were good or bad. And then we're just going to talk about our surprises of the week as well. The usual stuff, review the game, and then go over some waiver wire ads as well. So, with that being said, I am just going to bring in CJ. Hey, CJ, what's going
Hello, sports euphoria people.
on? Oh, man. So, a little background. CJ and I met. We used to work at a vitamin shop together, and we met and found out we both have a passion for sports and a lot of knowledge about them. And
We had
two
some good times too, vitamin shop.
Oh, for sure. Two of the six leagues I'm in are actually two of the leagues he's in as well. How many leagues are you in total?
I'm in three, but I do quite a bit of betting every
Uh,
week.
yeah, he's a big better. I want to try to get more betting episodes out there for you guys. But so how we'll do a quick little overview. How'd your week go for fantasy this week? What was your total overall record in your three leagues?
I went 2-1.
Oh, that's not too bad.
That's real good. And
Did you?
I needed those wins because I need to keep that bye in the league that you're ahead of me in.
I am because of those points. I'm up by like over 100 points on you, I think.
Yeah, and then I have in my other league, it's a different one. I have the second most points in the entire league, and I'm in fifth place.
Talk about bad matchups.
Yeah,
That's kind of rough. Yeah, that's not bad. And then I saw you lost in the other league that you and I are both in a basement on. You lost. I ended up
yeah,
winning. I snuck that one out because Kareem Hunt didn't do anything on a Sunday night.
yeah. I mean that league, I haven't scored over 90 points in the last 4 weeks, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds like me in my dynasty league. 2-1's not bad though. I went 4-2. I thought I was gonna go 0-6, but I ended up going 4-2. So I was able to flip that around real quick.
That's good.
Thankfully.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it was a blessing for sure, to say the least. Um,
Yeah,
I ended up winning in
I,
the one league you and I aren't going to do anything on. I played spoiler. I think I beat somebody who for seeding, but
yeah. I'm gonna do that to my best friend this week.
yeah. So I mean, it happens. My dynasty league, I don't even think I put up 80 points. No, I didn't. I didn't even put up 75. Jalen Hurts screwed me. Melvin Gordon screwed me. Devontae Smith screwed. The Giants defense showed up, so they did nothing. Elijah Moore finally did nothing because Zach Wilson's terrible. DK Metcalf did nothing till the final drive. Kyle Pitts did nothing. My two highest scorers were Marquise Brown and Taylor Heineke. They're the only people that got me double digits.
Taylor Heineke's low key. He's very very manageable.
Yeah, it was they controlled the game that game with Gibson a lot, but you know it's
They finally used Gibson the right way too that game. I noticed.
yeah, and McKissick going down definitely hurts him, and we'll touch on that in a sec when we get to the reviews. But real quick, so I had some calls in the preview episode. I don't know if you listened to the preview episode last week. Um, I talked about Mac
Fun
Jones.
fact: I listened to it on my way to work.
There you go. All right, appreciate it. Appreciate it. See, supporter of the work of the craft. Um, so I talked about Mac Jones. I had talked about Kendrick Bourne, and I had also talked about the Buccaneers receivers and Tom Brady. So those were my good calls. I thought Mac Jones was going to be a sneaky play. Kendrick Bourne, I've been talking about on the waiver wire for a couple weeks now. Um, and it looks like they have some rapport. And in regards to the good call for the Bucks and Tom Brady, I had stated that I don't think it was going to be a big game for the Buccaneers wide receivers and for Tom Brady in regards to a lot of yardage and anything like that. If they were to get anything, it would have been touchdowns. So those are some of my good calls. I guess you'd say. I don't know if you remember me talking about the Bucks wide receivers, maybe not doing much, especially against the Colts.
Colts got a good D, but they let Leonard Fournette just crazy.
Yeah,
They do fun with the run though.
Yeah, and they're gonna try to probably save Brady for real football down the stretch, and not when he has to throw the ball a lot if he has to.
Yeah, but
Um,
Gronk had an amazing game
yeah,
too.
Gronk went like 7 for like 123 or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
guy like really really went in the past there.
yeah, it's tell you what, between Devontae Freeman and Adrian Peterson, who was playing a couple weeks ago, and the
Yeah.
old Gronk, it looked like 2015 all over again. Um, and then some of my
Well, you
bad.
can bring that Le'Veon Bell back, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, they had on Bell, but they cut him, so we know how that goes. Um, my some of my bad calls were the Eagles players. I was very high. Being a Giants fan, I was like, oh, the Giants defense is terrible. Especially the game that Hurts came off of. I'm like, they should torch the Giants. Well, Devontae Smith did nothing, and Jalen Hurts could have had a better game if Jalen Rager knew how to catch the ball. But let's take Jalen Rager over Justin
Two
Jefferson.
of them.
What are you gonna do?
Ooh,
Just think they
two
could have had
big
Justin
balls.
Jefferson. The pick right after was Jefferson. Crazy to me.
That's what they wanted too. That's what
I
everybody wanted from the Eagles.
makes, but what are you gonna do? The same with Nelson Aguilar and the other Whiteside guy.
Yeah, who did Jalen Rager play for? It's TCU, right?
I think so. What are you gonna do? Just grab people from big schools. Makes no sense to me.
Mm.
I also thought Kyle Pitts was gonna do well with Cordell Patterson coming back. That was a big stinker. Um, and then I thought Saquon was gonna do well against the Eagles. I thought the Eagles Giants game would have been a shootout, but it was a short week with them, and then they were coming off of the short week playing from Monday going into Sunday with a new offensive coordinator that was fired on that was hot put in place on Tuesday. So I don't think he had a chance to implement what he wanted to on a full week. So I think that next week might be a little bit better against the Dolphins, but we'll see.
I really thought he was gonna come out like guns a blazing.
That
Freddie Kitchens.
offensive line is terrible though, CJ.
It's real bad. I know, but get Kenny Galladay involved. It
He
saves everybody's job too.
Gallaudet had
Get
7
the big
targets though. He was
yeah,
targeted 7 times.
more catchable. Not Daniel Jones' fault either, but
But I still I'm holding out hope for DJ. Like I really am. When they hire Lewis Riddick, okay,
no, that would have been great. Everybody wanted that too.
and it's gonna happen this time. It's got to happen this time. I was telling a bunch of people I might change my fandom. I might join you going from the Giants to the Cardinals.
Hey man, I joined a while ago.
You did. But we'll see what happens when Cliff Kingsbury goes to Oklahoma. Anyway,
He's not leaving. They could win the Super Bowl.
anyway, we'll talk about that later. My surprises, real quick, and you could talk about your surprises as well. People that you didn't expect to go off, or go off that you didn't think would go off, and didn't go off that you thought would go off. I had Fournette. I did not think Fournette was going to do what he did, especially in the receiving game. The Eagles' offense struggling like they did against the Giants, and then the Chargers' offense struggling as mightily as they did against the Broncos. Those were my surprises. I don't know if there's anybody that surprised you that
I
maybe.
mean, Leonard Fournette surprised everybody, obviously. Because this guy in Jacksonville, remember his thing was, I'm getting all the yards, I'm not getting any touchdowns. And then he comes in 4 touchdowns. He's been scoring like crazy.
Yeah, and even being used out of the backfield. He is a free agent at the end of the year, so it's interesting to see what's going to happen because at this rate, they're going to have to pay him a little bit. He's like
They're gonna
26, I
have
think. 26,
Yeah, he's
27.
he's the same age as me.
Yeah.
Looks like he's 40, but he's
Yeah, he looked like he was 40 when he was coming out of high school. Anyway, son played LSU. The man was a grown man playing against boys. Um, but was there anybody else that surprised you? Any teams or any players that popped off? Like Carson Wentz is another one for me actually that I didn't put down, but
Are we talking about just Giants and
well, no, anybody that any player that had a good game that you didn't expect, or any team or player that had a bad game that you thought was just going to go off.
I'm surprised that Zach Wilson actually managed the game. I have to give him kudos.
Well,
He did an okay job about managing the game against Texans.
he did. He did his best Mark Sanchez impression.
Yeah, oh yeah, I saw that. We saw that. I don't know what
Hmm.
that was. It was to Ty Johnson, I believe, who wasn't even looking.
He tried throwing it off of his ass instead of running it into his ass.
I don't know. I really expected Tyrod Taylor to really turn up and actually take over the game.
I felt.
As a matter of fact, I played him in one league.
Yeah. At least you didn't play Cam.
No,
Anyway,
I actually took your advice. I never told you. I was waiting to get on the podcast to tell you. I took your advice and I picked up Tyrod Taylor. off of off of
Oh,
waivers.
I mean,
I
go ahead.
I have Cam, Joe Burrow, and Tyrod Taylor, and he actually did the best out of all of them. I mean, he didn't do too hot, but still 2 touchdowns, 158 yards. It was better than Burrow, and obviously better than Cam.
Oh yeah, Cam, poor guy, got benched for
Well,
PJ Walker.
Burrow could have had a huge game, but
Well,
Mixon.
and that was another dud of mine. And I forgot to. I was putting my notes together for the show while I was at work today, and I forgot about this. But if you listen to it, I said Jamar Chase will have a dud of a game, and he's not going to do well this game against the Steelers. And he had what, 3 for 39?
Yeah, I don't know if that was the exact stat line, but it may probably, yeah.
I want to say I looked at it and I thought it was 3 for 39, and I don't know what, but he hasn't performed well recently.
Well, the problem is that he's such a big play guy. Like he's not that like he's not going to get you like just the first down and that's it. You know, they tried doing a couple screens to him was actually two of his receptions, I believe,
You know,
and it just didn't work.
he was only
You
targeted 3 times too. It was 3 for 39.
yeah,
Like, but T Higgins, 8 targets, for 6 catches for 114 yards.
yeah.
Like,
Go back to last year, that was Burrow's guy.
yeah, like they'll be good. Their offense, and another thing that's scared me with them, and I talked about it in the podcast, and even when you asked me advice on who to play, I thought with TJ Watt coming back, with Minka, and Minka had an interception. And if Hayden was coming back, I didn't necessarily like like Joe Burrow as a passer.
Well,
I didn't necessarily
that's
not like the
also
Bengals, but
Hayden's another reason why Chase didn't do good.
yeah,
I mean, Joe
Hayden.
Hayden still he
Yeah,
knows how to play.
oh, for sure. I think he's like 32, and he still can shut a receiver
Yeah,
down, especially a
and Minka
rookie.
sitting right over the top on
Yeah, you're
Chase.
you're you're gonna bracket them off. You're gonna get burned, so you go to the next guy. But it was the Joe Mixon show for like this third or fourth week in a row. Um, obviously with Watt, he's gonna be more of a pass rusher, so you're gonna run away from him. And Burrow had the touchdown. It wasn't the worst game in the world, but you would have wished you would have seen a little bit of a better game from Burrow from a fan under 200. You tell me you're going to throw the ball 24 times and complete 20 passes, and it's going to be for 190 yards. I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah,
Like,
he didn't even have that mediocre of like an average like pass either. Like it was 8 yards.
I know
It's not that bad.
it's so weird, but in regards to this game, with talking about this as one of the surprises with Chase, we'll segue right into the Steelers Bengals game itself. Um, One of the things I noted is, you think the Bengals can stay consistent, or do you think they're just going to flutter based off of who they're playing?
I mean, they're one of those teams that they're going to play up to the team or down to the team. It seems like it's just so weird. The defense is pretty consistent for the Bengals. I'll give them that this year.
So, yeah, no, their defense has definitely been a point for sure. Clearly, I
Their
mean,
their offensive line's holding up, unlike the Giants.
yeah.
Holding up by like literally a shoelace, but
Well,
still.
the Giants are going to be asking like me to play pretty soon. They've been going through so many offensive linemen, it's
Hey,
disgusting.
shit. You could put some shoulder pads on me. I'll hop right out there.
Yeah, right. Jeez. What else I have? Also, do you think that this is it for the Steelers? Like, the last week against the Chargers was their last like offensive showing, and they're just going to continue to put up games now, like they did against the Bengals.
They don't look good. I'll tell you that. I mean, when your killer bees are down to just Big Ben and Chris Boswell, I mean, I don't really know, man.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
Claypool is not the guy from last year. Deontay Johnson, he's obviously good, but or is that a product of Big Ben can't really throw it downfield and Deontay Johnson is that guy?
I think it's a little bit of Deontay Johnson's that guy. Like, I think they have to
Yeah.
find other ways to get him involved, though. Like, use him like an Antonio Brown type, like just get him the ball quick and in space and have him run some routes. He's talented for sure.
Oh yeah, he's good. You know, he's really good. I mean, if he was on any other team, I mean, he would be balling out right now.
Yeah,
Which are your
yeah.
from
No, he's definitely had his good weeks from a fantasy perspective for sure. But no, we'll see. Um, Speaking of Deontay Johnson and Chase, are you worried about like Chase Claypool, Najee Harris, or any other pass catcher? which is pretty much
Never
just
gonna be
Deontay Johnson.
never gonna be worried about Najee Harris. That guy gets so much volume that he will be a consistent top 10 pick for like the next 5 years.
It scares me though if Ben when Ben retires, like because he's older now. Like Breeze used to check down a lot as he was phasing out to Kamara. Is if they get Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to check down. Like how many
Or
receptions do AJ Dillon and Aaron Jones average on a regular basis? You know what I mean?
maybe 2 or 3, but Aaron Rodgers is going to the Broncos.
Well, I mean, locking up those receivers, yeah, but the
Exactly.
the 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 eye the eye looking it was going around during that Steelers Packers game. I don't know.
I mean, I saw it. That's very hopeful. Steelers fans they
Oh, for sure.
like to be very hopeful. They think they have a shot at it every year.
What about Jamar Chase? Are you worried about him going forward? Do you think the
No,
teams are just going to take him away?
the guy, he's just so good to be held down for more than one game.
I mean, it's been a
No.
couple games though for Chase recently.
I mean, I guess we have different perspectives on what he should be doing.
Well, I mean, I think he's definitely probably that his average depth, his A dot, as you can say,
Oh yeah, he's definitely that guy.
like is
Like
definitely high,
he
like a
needs a big,
Marquise Brown kind of
yeah, he needs
take
a
the
big play to
top off a
happen. It seems like.
defense.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess he was just doing it so often at the beginning of the year that like it doesn't worry me that much when he has a couple like dud games like this because the Bengals were just running all over people. So I mean, who's really catching the ball? It's
yeah,
like going to be one receiver and then Joe Mixon. That's it.
yeah, but
I
I
mean, you
mean,
look at their game against the Raiders too. It
yeah,
wasn't.
he had 3 for 32 and a touchdown, and then against Cleveland he had 6 for 49 and a fumble, and then he had 3 for 32 against the Jets and a touchdown. I mean, against the Ravens was when he went off. He had 8 for 201 and a touchdown. He has
He had the Steeler game too at the beginning of the year.
the Steelers game, yeah, where he 4 for 65 and 2 touchdowns, but he's only had 300-yard games on the season.
Now, you are right, but I just think Joe Burrow likes him in the red zone too.
Well, no, for sure. And you have the rapport from college. But I was just, it's a copycat league, and you start, and that's 2 games now, really 3, really 4 that he's been held under 50 yards. After his 201
Yeah,
game, people are just like, you know what? We're just taking him away after that 201 game. Like, dude, they lost to the Jets. He had 3 catches against the Jets.
yeah, that's bad. But I mean, if touchdowns matter though,
I don't know for sure, for sure. But
you got to give some out there.
a lot of leagues now you notice are PPR, so people are always going to want to get you
Yeah.
know
Oh, of course.
those
Yeah.
catches.
But I mean,
Um,
hey, Adam Thielen's not doing too bad this year, and I mean, I don't know how many games he's had over 100 yards. Not that many.
no, not too many at all. Um, but I hear you, I hear you. But with that, let's segue over to Bucks Colts. We talked about it a little bit. Jonathan Taylor had a good game. Obviously we talked about Fournette. Um,
Quite a showdown between those two.
Yeah. Do you think, speaking of showdown, do you think that's just because the Bucks defense is so good against the run that that's what led to Carson Wentz's game?
Oh, for sure. Because Carson Wentz, I mean, they want to run the ball. That's what they want to do.
Hmm.
They don't want Carson Wentz to have to win the game for him.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's not like he
He's
was with
he's
the
not that
Eagles.
guy anymore.
No,
You're not that guy, pal.
they were trying to get him. Frank Reich was saying he was trying to get him back, and I'm like, dude, why are you trying so hard to get this guy back? Just
I mean, he threw the ball like 40 times too.
yeah, I know.
That's just Carson Wentz just can't do that anymore.
And then they took the pass away, and then they didn't run the ball, and then finally on the last drive, I think JT ran it 8 times the whole drive, and he scored a touchdown. He finished with 97 total yards, so his streak was broken of 100. But dude, he's the best back in the league. There's nothing about like you can't.
I mean, it pains me because I didn't draft towards the back end in any of my leagues, but him and Eckler, I wanted so bad. Like I would have even reached up for him, but I was afraid of like other people calling me an idiot.
Now, one thing I've noticed since I've started the podcast and been more in tune with fantasy this year. The one draft you and I had for the one league that we're both in the bottom in, was just rough. It was weird. It was a weird draft. It was just awkward how it laid out. It was just super
They
weird.
always are. You could tell that all these people right now with these guys. I mean, they'll draft who the hell they want to draft.
Yeah, and it
Doesn't
really
matter
just
what. they're in. They'll draft a quarterback fifth, which I
Y-
think somebody did.
Yeah, it just really throws you for a loop. And in the one league that we're in, where you and I are in the top two spots, I have Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, like,
Man,
and Justin
I wound up
Jefferson.
getting I wound up getting Zeke. I got Aaron Jones. I
I
mean,
mean,
Aaron Jones is mediocre, but
yeah,
and
I
then I
mean,
got D Hop and
it's a
Dak
yeah, no, and I know Dak's won your league, like won your weeks a couple times for sure, but
himself.
I get it. It's a 10-team league, so that it's obviously like teams are going to be more stacked. But I drafted towards the bottom of the league, towards the
And
bottom, and I got
you
Derek
got
and JT and Justin Jefferson and Mike Evans did have a dud, but he's been playing a lot better. But I have Adam Thielen, I have Darnell Mooney in that league, Elijah Moore, like my team, like it's just, and I think I have Justin Herbert.
Would you say you had? Who was your receivers?
I think it's Jefferson. Um, hold on, I'll take a look right now. I'm pulling it up. What? That was weird. Is this not letting me pull it up? Jefferson and Evans. No.
Oh, nice. I mean, I didn't look. I was just
Oh,
actually. I
um,
thought you said Thielen. I was like, oh, hold your
no.
horses,
I
Bucko.
have Thielen in the
Hold
other
on.
league. In the other league, you and I are in.
Oh yeah, he's killing it. I
So,
love having.
so I have Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, Chuba Hubbard, who I've had since CMC went down the first time.
And man, there we go. Now he's their running back.
Elijah, which scares me because he plays like the top 5 run defenses in the playoffs for fantasy playoffs. So I'm not even going to play him. But
Yeah, but Cam Newton's going to run the ball so much, they're not even going to focus on
I
him.
could get Derrick Henry back for the end of the season. I have Elijah Mitchell that I picked up, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson, Darnell Mooney, Justin Herbert, and Matthew Stafford, and Pat Fryermuth.
You love that.
I
I
love
mean,
Pat.
he is good.
I love Pat
He is.
Fryermuth. I love Pat Fryermuth.
I mean,
Uh,
in a year where tight ends are just, ooh, I don't even
a,
know.
a
Besides
bit
Travis Kelce.
abysmal. We have Kelsey in one league, and it's a tight end premium league. So every 7 yards is 1 point, and he's been killing it for us. But real quick, we'll try to speed this up so we can get through the games. You worried about Tom Brady at all? I talked about it in the preview episode with the fact that he hasn't kept up the pace that he did start the season with. Are you worried, or you think it's just kind of Bruce Arians just saving him for
You know,
when real football matters?
well, I think it's that exactly, and that might be a reason to be worried.
Yeah, I don't.
Because if they win these next 3 games with Tom Brady just doing what he did like last week, then I mean he's not going to be good. He's
Yeah,
just not going to be good down the stretch. But I mean, it also could be, the Cardinals keep winning, the Packers keep winning. They want to get that. They want to get that seed. They're like, hey Tom, go out there. You need to ball out.
yeah, no, for sure. Because there's only one team that gets a bye now, so it's a lot of pressure to win. Adding that other
Hmm.
team in, and if Brady decides to play how he's been playing, do you think Fournette's a top 5 back rest of the season?
You got to give it to him at this point.
I mean,
I want to say no,
especially with the
but
injuries though, and no CMC and possibly no Dalvin Cook for a couple weeks, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I want to say no, but like, I mean, you have to give it to him at this point because I mean, any game Tom Brady could just say, hey, you know what, this is my game. I'm gonna do everything. Maybe
yeah,
we get down to the goal line, I give it to you. And at one point I was actually very worried that Ronald Jones was gonna step it up too. And that's why I didn't even draft Leonard Fournette. I was like, Ronald Jones is too good. And then, oh
yeah.
boy,
I've been
all these people laughing
trying.
at me.
Yeah, I've been trying to pull for Fournette in my dynasty league from the one guy that we play with, but he's busy with like work and school, so he doesn't get back to you. Like, and I get it. Like, I get it. Everybody's like in different parts of their lives when you play fantasy football, but it's a dynasty league, and I have a push. And you heard my team. I wasn't supposed to do well this year. I ended up winning a couple games. My team got hot. It's some spots. I won a few games. Um, but I've been trying to get you know Fournette for like other players, like i.e. Cortland Sutton. It's a dynasty league, obviously, so you want to go young. Cortland Sutton, Chase Edmonds. I have Marquez Callaway. Try just for Fournette and maybe and some draft picks. But I'm like, look, you need receivers. I'll give you another running back because I'm loaded. I have J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne, Saquon, Melvin Gordon. So I'm like, oh, now I'm not going to be able to touch Fournette with a 10-foot pole.
Oh no,
I was trying to
not
get
after
Fournette
last
for
week.
weeks, and I couldn't get him for
And it was probably
weeks.
only because this guy just didn't pay attention.
And I'm like, oh, and I know he's busy, and a lot of other people have. It's not just me. But I'm like, oh no. But what are you gonna do? It happens. Anyway, so we both think Fournette could be a top 5 back rest of the season. Okay, glad we're in agreement there. Panthers Dolphins. Um, do you
That's
think anybody now with CMC done for the year? And especially because the Panthers' schedule rest of the season is tough. I'll tell it to you in a second. But do you think any skill position players for the Panthers are startable, i.e., DJ Moore?
I was gonna say DJ Moore because they got to throw it to somebody. It's not going to be Robbie Anderson. We figured that out already.
Oh, it hasn't Robbie Anderson all year. But like, I don't know. Other than the Falcons, they play the Bills, the Bucks, the Saints, and if you happen to be in a Week 18 playoff championship game, they play the Bucks again. Like, I don't know, man. That like
I don't know. DJ Moore still had a good game though, and that was like
for Chuba,
Cam Newton's
well,
worst game ever.
yeah, and he went like 9 for 20 or something like that. It was ridiculous. Do you think Cam's Week 1 performance was a fluke?
His 2 weeks
Not his
ago.
Week 1, his first
Yeah,
start,
yeah.
his first start was a fluke. Do you think it was a fluke?
Well, I mean, he only played like what 2 plays.
No, not no, last week when he played against the Redskins, the Redskins, the Washington football team.
No, I don't think it's a fluke. It's just that at any point, Cam could just get on the goal line and score a touchdown.
Yeah,
So I mean, that's what it kind of boils down to.
I also think it was a matchup. I think the Dolphins' pass defense is a lot better than what the Washington pass defense is. So
Because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Cam threw one big touchdown. It was looked like a lapse on defense. If correct me if I'm wrong, but the other two were on the goal line, right? Or at least in the red zone.
the one was against Washington. The one was a lapse to CMC. The other one I think that he made was another good throw, and then the one was a rushing touch, a long run.
Yeah, 20-yard rush. That's what I was
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, he had a 20-yard rush. That was just he looked good when he ran it. He looked good when he ran it.
He always looks good when he runs it, though. I mean, last year he looked good too running the ball. He just couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah, well, they had no weapons there
And
either.
we saw that last week too.
Yeah. Um. So then, all right. So I mean, DJ Moore scares me, but he was probably the only person I'm starting because even with Hubbard, they have Amir Abdullah now, who's a little bit quicker. So I think it might be a little bit more of a split of a timeshare there.
Yeah, I mean, they figured out Chuba Hubbard isn't Christian McCaffrey,
You know,
or he isn't Tony Pollard, he isn't Alexander Madison, who I think is going to do very well.
yeah, we
But
have him in one league where we needed him. So like, I never wish an injury upon anybody, but our starting running backs to start the year were Miles Sanders and Mike Davis. We went 0 running back for the first 3 rounds. So being able to, we traded for Miles Gaskin. We had to unfortunately trade Keenan Allen for Miles Gaskin because our receivers were Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, and Travis Kelsey.
you
Um,
traded my dad, Keenan Allen, too.
I did for no, I traded him Antonio Gibson for Keenan. I took Keenan in the
Oh, okay,
deal.
you got me. Okay.
Yeah, because your dad needed running back help and he was stacked at
Yeah.
receiver. And he's been doing well. I think he's first in that league. So go figure. Um, what do you think about Gaskin rest of the season? Do you think because of no Malcolm Brown, he continues to just kind of get the volume that puts up good numbers? Because that's all it's really been, in my opinion, is just
Yeah,
volume.
it's just volume. He had like 16 attempts for 49 yards. I mean, that's pitiful,
It's the
really.
2 touchdowns that saved him.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, one was his longest touchdown was what 8 yards,
Yeah, it's I don't know,
and then
and
one on the
and, and
goal
one of them
line.
was a wildcat. So
But it's like, how much do you think? Like, I mean, I don't really want to say this, but they used Philip Lindsay, man.
I know, I know.
And like, could he actually take some work from Miles Gaskin?
I don't know. We'll see. Because apparently the
Yeah,
thing with Gaskin is pass protection. It's the biggest thing with him. That's why they don't.
yeah. I mean, I don't know why some of these running backs they don't think that they have to protect the quarterback as well.
I don't understand. Your offense becomes too one dimensional at that point because they know when you're not in the game, it's going to probably be a pass. And they know if you're in the game, it's probably going to be a run. And if it's not a run, you can't block. So we're just going to blitz to the opposite side of you, and you're not going to know to look over and pick it up. So, what do you think about Waddle? You think this is? I know he's had a lot of.
Well,
He has 77 catches, but do you think from a standpoint of breakout, like he had the big play finally, like he finally had that, like what we
well,
saw in
I have
college?
him too in one league. I loved that.
I have
You know, I think
I have him in a league too.
he's gonna. You remember that those Jarvis Landry years with the Dolphins?
Oh,
That's what Waddle is.
yes. I think a lot of people drafted Waddle because of the things that you saw in college and how he was that big play guy. He'd catch the ball and like, dude, college and the pros, you have to understand, like
The
you're
speed.
like the speed of the game is just different, and you're going to the best schools in SEC. Like you're
Yeah,
come
you're
on
gonna
now.
kill.
But I do think this is a good game for Waddle to see what he could do, and he's gonna get. He has 77 catches. Like that's ridiculous. In PPR, it's 77 points for the year that he's gotten you, and the one game I think he had 12 catches. Crazy. Definitely.
It's like
Very.
10 targets a game.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. And he has the ability to take it to the house. Like he can. He could make that guy miss and he could go to the house. Now you have a long yardage play, which has yards for you and a touchdown. So it works out. Um,
Yeah, I actually love him. I think he's gonna be a phenomenal wide
the
receiver going
receivers that
forward.
came out this year or last year are going to be good. Like it was a good receiver class last year.
No, you're
Um,
right. 100%.
what about Tua? You think you could start him now in some leagues, in maybe 12 team leagues, or
Maybe a super flex, man, but I really, I don't know. I
yeah,
don't
no,
like him.
I feel the same way. I probably have to see a little bit more from him
It would
consistently.
definitely going to be a super flex where some dude just stocked up on 6 quarterbacks and you're forced to play him.
Yeah. But it's encouraging to see him play a little bit better. You know, the 80% completion percentage for 30 passes the past 2 games,
Sorry if you guys hear my dog.
is good to
He is
see.
a very large dog.
um, so next game I have Titans Patriots. Kind of got out of hand, was close at some points, and then just kind of mac and cheese did mac and cheese things. Um,
Belichick did Bill Belichick things.
yeah, I mean Mac Jones, I still feel like he's just gonna be super flex play. You're not trusting him enough, to be
Oh
like
yeah, I mean
your.
this was his first game over 300 yards. I think.
I think you're right. It absolutely, but he's showing
I
you it was
feel
against a bad team, pass defense wise. But the Patriots give you a little bit each week that make you think about something else. So now going into next week's game, it's like, okay, are they going to try to have Mac Jones throw some more? Oh
that's what
no,
I was going to say
we're
too.
going to have
You hit the nail
Stevenson
on the
run the
head.
ball 80 times with Harris, and you're not going to know what's coming. And then when Jones needs to throw it, he'll step back and throw it, and you're going to be screwed. That's what they do. The Pats give you they show you a little bit, so you're like, shit. Now we got a game plan for that too, and
Yeah, I
that's
mean he's been progressing each week too.
oh
That's
for
what's scary.
sure.
He's getting better each week, beating better teams each week.
Oh, for sure. And he definitely could have beaten the Cowboys if their defense was playing how it's playing now.
Hmm.
They could have beaten the Cowboys. They play the Cowboys again. If the team's playing what they're playing now, and you give the Cowboys a full roster with both healthy receivers, I'd put money on it that the Patriots win.
Yeah, I mean
Um.
this is also a Tennessee team that is totally dismantled.
Oh no, for sure. They're not. They're just looking to if they can limp into the playoffs and get healthy for the playoffs, they'll be a team to worry about in the playoffs because they'll have
But
Henry.
what's hilarious is that they never gave up on the run. The Titans.
No, they
None.
rushed for over 200 yards. Each back had 100. If it wasn't for
Yeah,
Foreman, and Foreman had a
crazy.
good game, Hilliard broke the one for the touchdown. But I don't. I think Foreman's still the guy to have. He's the only one I trust because when McNichols comes back, I think he's going to be the pass catcher. I don't think it should be Hilliard. I think it should be Jeremy.
Oh yeah, because they still want to run that Derrick Henry kind of rushing style, and it's
Yeah,
just not. That's not McNichols.
I think Foreman. Depending if you had Henry and you picked up Foreman and you need a running back, I do like playing Foreman if you have to. If you don't have Madison, if you don't like, I like Foreman. I think he's somebody I can trust. Can you trust him?
I think you could definitely trust him. I mean, you had to. Everybody has injuries at running back at this point. You know, somebody's going to be starting him every week. I think
I agree.
at this point,
I agree, especially deeper
because
leagues.
running back's all about volume.
Yep, and he'll get it.
Yeah,
And if they want to stick to the run, they'll do it. They will do it for sure. Um, what about the Patriots players as a whole? Like, do you think Kendrick Bourne can keep up his recent games? Um, and do you trust any Patriots, any Patriots players for the offense?
I Damian Harris because he was still a little hobbled last week. I think they really want him to be the guy, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I really do think they want him to be the guy. It's just that Ramondre Stevenson, he's playing good. Harris still a little bit hobbled from his injury. Why risk it? And he still got like 11 rushes for like six less yards than Stevenson. So I don't
Yeah,
think there's anything to be worried about. And he got the touchdown. He's their goal line back.
yeah, but Stevenson's there, man. I mean, Stevenson is
He's definitely there. But everybody uses two running backs at this point.
yeah, I know. Um,
And then I think you start Jacoby Myers and Bourne if you have to start them. I think Jacoby Myers, somebody might be starting him every week at this point.
I
But
mean, he's that Wes Welker, Julian Edelman type player.
yeah,
He really is. Now, yeah, I mean, Kendrick Bourne has had ups and downs. When he goes off, he goes off. Like his best games
I
were
actually started him in one league.
were
This
24 points, 19.5, 20, 27, and 8. I mean, his lowest game was week 1. I think he had 2. But I think I think he's Mac Jones's favorite target.
Yeah, I think that they just get each other the best. Like he
Uh,
knows what he's going to be doing. He just knows it.
oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And they'll probably gonna have to throw it against Buffalo next week. So, especially with
I'm
Notre
excited to
Dame,
see that game too. I'm excited.
especially with Notre Davis White. I mean, I'm just saying, man. Could be a game for it. Could be another decent game for Kendrick Bourne, depending on the leagues you are in. But again, we'll talk
And,
about that.
when Bill Belichick wants to stop something, like something so one dimensional like the Bills are, it kind of seems like he could stop it.
I know it's crazy. It's crazy. The guy's a genius. The guy,
Yeah.
he's actually showing you that without COVID, like, and if players didn't opt out, even with Cam last year, I think he could have done well last year with Cam. Like, I really think the argument of Brady or Belichick, which one is which, really still has not been settled. Like, I get it.
Oh no.
I get it.
Maybe this year.
Brady,
If Brady wins another one, maybe this year.
I
But
wouldn't be surprised. Dark horse off topic, and we'll have to get back on topic. Would not. I know Dan Orlovsky's talked about it
oh,
on Get Up and stuff, and Ryan Clark has as well. But the Patriots could be a scary team to play if they get the number 1 seed, and you have to go to New England
mhm.
and play there. I'm just saying, wouldn't be
I mean,
surprised if they
I
make a
mean they
little bit of
are
a run.
they are the number one seed, right? Right now.
Atlanta, Baltimore won against Cleveland, so Baltimore has 3 losses. New England has
Oh,
4
okay. Okay.
losses.
Yeah.
So Baltimore's
Mhm.
number 1 seed right now. So we'll see. But the way they've been playing, we'll talk about that too. Next game, which I don't think we have to talk much about other than Boston Scott kills the Giants, but the Eagles Giants. I mean, being a Giants fan, yeah, the Giants won. I mean, I don't know. It was a great weekend for me. Duke basketball wins on Friday. Michigan wins on Saturday. I won my morning softball league on Sunday, and then
Oh, Duke beat Gonzaga,
the Giants
right?
win. Yeah, they beat Gonzaga on Friday by 3. Like, dude,
I bet.
it was a great weekend. Duke, Michigan, and the Giants, and then softball. I'll
Great weekend. It doesn't get any better than that. I'll tell
no,
you that.
it doesn't.
I think my weekend might have been a little bit better, but it was my birthday.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I get it. I respect it. But this nothing really into my mind like pops out at me about this game other than the fact that the Giants defense showed up. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith said, "We're just gonna shit the bed for you guys this week." And Boston Scott got out of his 11 career touchdowns, 7 of them are against the Giants.
He kills them. He kills Giants every year.
If I was an NFL team and Boston Scott got cut, I would just sign him whenever you played the Giants. Just
Yeah.
sign him,
Come on,
cut
put him
him,
out there.
sign him, cut him.
He doesn't even need to know the playbook. Just put him out there and kick return, man.
It's like Brian Westbrook-esque. Barkley did look good though. He had the one long run, which I think if he was healthy, he might score that.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm looking at it like his average yards per carry, 3. But you are right. He's a big play guy,
He is,
and he does it so often. That's
yeah.
why he's good.
And I mean, look, he wasn't healthy this year. They say usually it takes you a year to come back from your ACL anyway. Like for you to be yourself again, it takes you a year to come back, like a year after you come back. so it wouldn't be till next year. But the thing
Cooper
is,
Cup.
we've all fallen into this trap because of what Adrian Peterson did.
Oh yeah,
Like he comes back from
we've
this
all watched the highlight video of Adrian
exact.
Peterson recovering.
Like, I mean, I get it, but like, not everybody's going to be like that. Yes, what Saquon did is very incredible. What these athletes do, the rehab that they go through, the sacrifices that they make to get back out on the field as quick as possible is incredible. And yes, he probably would have been doing so much better if he doesn't step on Jordan Lewis's ankle against the Cowboys. Like, because he came back against Washington and looked great, and then he was on pace to do something, and then he steps on Jordan Lewis's foot and rolls his ankle, and you have a golf ball or a softball on his leg. Like,
It's crazy. I mean, he's you need to see him next year. That's what you're gonna have to judge him on.
yeah, and they'll pick up the option, and then they'll probably tag him, and then they'll probably see what they got. They're going to use him and abuse him, and then they'll let him go, and they'll draft somebody else.
I
He's
mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna tag him, man.
well, they're going to pick up his option for next year.
Yeah, definitely pick it up. But tag him, no, because then they're gonna pay him too much money for that 1 year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Um, Next, another dud of a game. Close game, but nothing to write home about. The only thing I have for the Falcons Jaguars is Cordero Patterson. Like the guy's just, I don't get it. Finally,
I don't.
finally a team figured out how to use him after his 10-year career or 11-year career so far.
I don't even know, man. He's an anomaly.
I thought he was going to be Mike Williams. I thought he was going to be what Mike Williams is this year. You have really good weeks in the beginning of the season. Everybody goes to pick him up, and then he fizzles out. Nope.
Yeah, crazy stat about our fantasy football league: the guy who picked him up hasn't lost a game where Cordell Patterson has played.
That's crazy. It's actually absolutely incredible.
It's nuts. And I mean, how's he? He's not even a running back.
No, and it's interesting to see what leagues are going to do next year because he's taken so many snaps to the running back position. Do they just make him a running back next year and not give him wide receiver eligibility? I was listening to another podcast and they brought it up. It wasn't my own thing, but that's very interesting because this year he started off as a wide receiver because that's what he's been. And then all of a sudden he was taking enough snaps where he became wide receiver eligible or running back eligible. So I'm interested to see what happens next year.
Yeah, I mean, but Ty Montgomery, remember that 1 year?
Yeah, I know. But even
They never
Taysom Hill at
changed
some
that.
point, what are you going to put Taysom Hill as? A tight end?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because then you're going to have to start doing that with Mike Gesicki and Kyle Pitts because they line up more at wideout than they do a tight end.
Yeah, you're right.
So if you start giving dual eligibility, I think you're just going to open up Pandora's box. And I think you just have to make him a running back. Make him a running back, play him as a flex, and then he gets you the receptions. Like, he gets you the receptions. How many people,
Right.
like Brian Westbrook used to line up at the wide receiver spot? Like, Brian Westbrook was one of the best running back route runners in the league.
Yeah, I mean, look at Darren Sproles, too.
Darren Sproles, another one. Danny Woodhead.
Danny Woodhead.
Yeah. But do you, another thing I have in this game is, do you bench Kyle Pitts if you have him?
You can't. You just can't bench him. There's not
the-
enough tight ends out there.
That's my thinking. There's not enough tight ends and the upside. You've seen what he can do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but it's just all the teams are focusing on him.
And you're going to, obviously, I hope Calvin Ridley's okay. You want to make sure he's in a good state. But
Yeah.
he just goes to show you, yes, the offensive line is terrible, but it goes to show you what no Calvin Ridley. They're like, we'll live or die with Patterson. We don't want Pitts to kill us.
It's true. And it goes to show you is that why these guys are also tight ends.
Oh, yeah, they can't take over a game.
Yeah, he's like these people that's saying, oh my God, like he's like this super athlete, which he is. He's a super athlete.
Oh, for sure.
He can't run the routes like Antonio Brown or Julio Jones in his heyday. He's a tight end. He really is a tight end.
Yeah. He just can't block.
And we've seen that with Darren Waller, too. If they want to take him out of the game, they take him out of the game.
Yeah. So ever since his first game when he had 19 targets. I also have that the Jags are just terrible and inconsistent. Like, and you're just playing James Robinson because you have to at this point. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Sheer
gonna,
volume alone.
Exactly. Like, I had him as another dud this week, is going under his projected value, and I think he may have just met his projections, but he didn't get the touchdowns. Like, in a PPR league, I'm almost hesitant to play him, But in a not in a standard non PPR, I'll play him. Why not? But
Yeah. You know
I
what's
just
crazy? The Falcons are like right there to be in the playoffs. It's crazy.
I know it's the NFC is
They
disgusting.
shouldn't be.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
From
I mean,
one, what's
I
up?
played Laviska Shenault this week actually.
I would have played. I would have played Born. I mean, I think I did talk about.
I
I did talk about
Yeah,
Laviska.
I'm that
Um,
bad that I played Bourne and Chenault. I had to play both of them.
I did like Laviska though. I thought he would have done well. Like just based off of the Falcons' defense is atrocious. They're probably gonna take Marvin Jones out of the game over you because you haven't done anything all season, and
Yeah,
you still
the
can't
guy
do anything.
he can't catch a ball downfield.
The best game he had was when DJ Chark broke his ankle.
Yeah, where he
But
had like 98 yards, and then that was in the morning game.
yeah, and you're not even playing him because DJ Chark is there.
hmm I played him. Been playing him all year.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah,
Um,
that's also
f-
last place, so I mean, that's why.
from one bad game to another, Jets Texans. I know we talked about Zach Wilson a little bit. Tyrod Taylor thought Tyrod would have had a better game, dude. You come off rushing for what you did against a decent team, and then you do this against the Jets.
And that's why they're 2-9. You know,
It's I think the only players I like on either team are receivers, Brandon Cooks and Elijah Moore.
yeah, Elijah Moore's really coming up. Progressed very well.
Oh no, for sure. For sure. He's really come on. But I also think that he's being hurt by Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson's actually going to be a detriment to him because he doesn't know how to play quarterback in the NFL.
Not yet. No, he's not. He's
And he
not
wasn't
learning.
right. I know he was limping around and stuff and his knee was still messed up, but your post game pressers are terrible. You're saying that
Oh,
it was
like
sore
Mike
like what's that?
said, I should be like Mike White. Remember that?
Yeah, like it, you get the ball to the best player on the team, and that's Elijah Moore right now because Michael Carter Jr. is not there. And I get it. Even when Michael Carter's there, you still probably want to get to Elijah Moore. But the Jets had a bad wide receiver signing, just like the Giants. Corey Davis, for the money that they spent on Corey Davis and the money the Giants spent on Galladay, were not worth it. And it's showing you right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Kenny Galladay can't stay on the field, and Corey Davis. I mean, he can't stay on the field, and even when he's on the field, he's not really doing too much.
Oh, no, for sure. Definitely. But I just have really Cooks and Elijah Moore as the only two fantasy relevant options because the running backs, Walter had a good game, and you're like, what the heck's that? Then
Who is this guy?
Tevin Coleman has a good game, but the Jets were in control kind of all game. So of course Coleman's going to be the running back. You don't have to play catch up, so Ty Johnson's not going to be out and relevant.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
So
weird too. In that same league where I started Laviska Shenault, I was like, you know what? Here comes Ty Johnson, and that didn't work out.
yeah, no, not at all. Next game, real quick. Chargers Broncos. Anything stick out to you about this game?
How the Chargers were able to the Broncos were able to shut down the Chargers.
It makes no sense to me. I don't understand. They're so inconsistent. I think the Chargers are matchup like dependent.
Oh yeah, they'll play up to the Chiefs, but they'll play down to the Broncos.
Makes no sense. And then the Broncos will bite you in the ass. You saw that with the Cowboys after
Yeah,
they
they didn't
traded
even.
Von Miller.
Did they even pass the ball in the second half? The
I don't
Broncos.
even know. Well, no, I think Drew Lock, your boy Swaggy Drew was. They took him out real quick once Bridgewater said he could play. They were like, "All right, Drew, you're done."
Yeah, I loved that guy coming out of
I
college. Man.
know.
We
Tell
were
you what.
working with him at that time.
I tell you what. That's one. If I'd rather have Daniel Jones than Drew Lock. He
Mhm.
does not look good.
Yeah, I mean, they both don't really give you too much, but
Yeah, I
at
know.
least Daniel Jones seems like he can run an offense.
Yeah. Do you think that after this game, Javonte Williams took the job for Melvin Gordon? You think it's going to be more of a one-headed attack and Melvin Gordon here and there, or you think it's still going to be
No,
a split backfield?
just split evenly.
Okay,
I know Melvin Gordon. He got a little hurt in that game, but he came back,
he
right?
did. Oh, of course he's going to come back. It was a revenge game for him. Why wouldn't he come back?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, Melvin Gordon, he's just playing too well. I think they wanted Javonte Williams to eventually take
Yeah.
that role, but they're just like, Melvin Gordon. I mean, he averaged 5 yards a carry.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's
It's cr-
playing well. You gotta keep giving him touches. And I mean, he scored a touchdown almost every week. I know he didn't score one against the Chargers, but
yeah,
the guy
and
knows how to get in the end zone.
I played him over Devontae Freeman this week because well, it's a revenge game. So I took the revenge game as he was going to do well. Um,
And he did well. And they were using Williams the whole second half, I believe, right?
yeah, so maybe his little stinger, they were like, "Oh, we kind of got this game wrapped up. We'll take control. We'll have the young kid do it." Um, how do you feel about the Denver receivers? They've
I
been
was going to talk about that. You don't. It's so. Each one is so inconsistent.
Teddy Cortland Sutton's been irrelevant since Judy came back, but Judy hasn't even blown the doors off anybody.
No, I mean, you can't judge them off last game because they just got so ahead.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they gave them all extensions. Obviously, Judy's on a rookie deal, but
Yeah, so clearly they're
they
trying
gave
to
him all
get
extensions. They're saying, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers, get over here."
or Russell Wilson.
Yeah, or Russell Wilson.
Just saying,
I
I'd
mean, I
rather
think.
see Russ in blue in New York.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I'd rather have Sierra, get her way and have him come here. But I don't, as a Giants fan, I do not want to give up those too high picks for him. I'd rather because if he's going to need a line. So
Oh yeah, but they
uh,
got the picks though. The Giants got the picks.
I know they do. I know. Sort of
And
the Eagles.
Edelman's still the general manager. Then I mean,
It's
they're not
it,
going to be good picks.
Lewis Riddick. They need to hire Lewis Riddick. They messed up 4 years ago. They cannot get the same. They can't fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Do not make the same mistake twice. Um, he's very well connected. He's very very well connected, and he liked Joe
Players love him.
Judge.
Players
Um,
love him. Yeah, but
and
that's to be said too. Do you keep Joe Judge?
well,
That doesn't usually happen.
it doesn't. So you got to see. But I firmly believe, if I remember correctly, I have to go back. I think Riddick liked Joe Judge. Riddick also liked Matt Patricia because he has ties to the Patriots. So I see him getting along with Joe Judge. Um, but Lewis Riddick, like
So
I said, he knows people, and we have to remember Joe Judge did not draft Daniel Jones. That is a
no, he
that's a
has
Pat
no
Shermer guy.
loyalty.
So Joe Judge has no loyalty, and we also found out that Joe Judge was forced to get Jason Garrett, and then was also forced to keep him when he wanted to get rid of him a couple weeks ago. So interesting concept there. Not Wellington. Sorry, Wellington. You know, Maras, you got to step back and
Yeah,
let the GM
yeah.
run the show. Stop trying to be like Jerry Jones and and Jim Dolan with the Knicks. Just step back. Let the
Play the
GM
guitar.
let the GM run the show. Um,
Yeah, here comes Desmond Ritter as a Giant.
yeah. Give me Kenny Pickett. Um, Rams Packers. Stafford's arm looked pretty good. He had those two big throws to OBJ and Van Jefferson.
He also
I
had what was his third game in a row with a pick six.
Yeah, he has as many pick sixes
Going
this
for the Matt Schwab.
he has as many pick sixes this season as Aaron Rodgers has in his career. Anyway,
And he's
um,
hurt. He's hurt though.
yeah, he said his arm and his
They
back were
came up.
tingling and tight, but it looked good. I mean, you throw the ball to OBJ, throw the ball
Yeah,
deep to Van. Um,
Cooper Cup got his by the end of the game.
yeah, who do you trust more, OBJ or Van Jefferson?
I think you trust Van more.
So I'm an OBJ guy. I think he kind of fits that Robert Woods role where he's gonna be like a Cooper Cup, like he's gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a no on that because he doesn't block.
That's true.
Can't stop block. Robert Woods was great at that, and Sean McVay loves that.
Yeah, no, you're right. But from a fantasy perspective, I think he is going to be another short guy who can still take the top off a defense.
Yeah,
Uh,
and he can. I could be totally wrong. I don't really like Odell that much,
yeah, I have a
but
sour taste in my mouth as well. I just think that he has more of a proven track record than Van Jefferson. I guess what I'm saying. Like when he
yeah, he
played with the
definitely does. And
Giants, he has a great
yeah, he
catch
had the
radius.
10
He can hold on to
targets.
the ball, and he can take a 3-yard screenplay to the house. You know.
Yeah, I mean that takes the heat off Matt Stafford a little bit. Just being able to throw the ball 5 yards and having a guy that could take it to the house.
Yeah, exactly. And Cooper Cup could do the same thing, but OBJ's faster than Cooper Cup.
Yeah, of
Um.
course. I mean Cooper Cup will always get his. It doesn't even need to be said at
Oh
this
yeah,
point.
no, for sure.
Guys going for Calvin Johnson's record.
Yeah. What do you think about the running back situation? If you're an Aaron Jones owner, as I know you are in one league, are you worried with how well AJ Dillon's been playing? And do you think you can play AJ Dillon every
I
week
mean,
now?
I think you could. Oh yeah, you definitely could play AJ Dillon every week, but It's going to be one of those things to where it's like the same thing with the Cowboys. Everybody says Tony Pollard looks better, but you play your guy.
Yeah,
With Zeke, they're going to play him, and I think Aaron Jones is healthy. How can you not play him? It's not like he's bad when he's healthy.
I hear you.
But I mean, it's going to be a split backfield. Aaron Jones is going to get all the passes. Might be better. Could be better for Aaron Jones.
I hear you.
Kareem Hunt takes the role pretty well. So
Except for last week. Yeah, he also takes a kicking job real well too. Anyway, um,
just not even
sorry,
better.
sorry. Anyway, we're not going to go down that road. Um, do you trust any Rams running back at this point? I know Henderson's hurt, but like they haven't run the ball like they were earlier in the year.
No, that's why I traded you him. I knew it. I predicted it.
Yeah, but look at what Antonio Brown's been doing for you.
Not too good. I've only had him for the one game.
And we're both doing bad. So what's that show
Yeah,
for us?
yeah. I
Uh,
traded.
it's gonna come down to you. We're both the bottom feeders in one league, but you and I could end up playing the championship in the other league. So it should be it should be a good one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, but we'll see. Vikings Niners. Debo's supposed to be miss a week, maybe two the most. How do you think that affects the rest of the offense?
I think they use him in so many ways that it's got to have an effect. But I also feel like you can pick up what he does. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah,
Like Elijah Mitchell's good. He's good.
yeah.
I mean, you could use him in the same role that they're using Debo in.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I
And
mean, he
then I
does.
mean,
He does
Brandon
give you.
Ayuk is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's out of the doghouse. I don't know what he was doing wrong,
He
but
wasn't acting like a professional apparently, but this will help probably George Kittle a little bit. This will obviously, I mean, dude, Elijah Mitchell had a great game. He was like running back number, like he was top five back, if not top three, if it wasn't
yeah, I
for
just
Fournette.
want to know what Trey Sermon did wrong too, for
Uh,
Elijah Mitchell to jump him.
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I know he was hurt, but like I mean, everybody's always hurt on the Niners. So
That's true, but you know, I feel like every year, like you said, yeah, he was the third running back this week by 0.3 points. Like it's just crazy.
yeah, but,
Um, what's up?
like they're nuts. They
Yeah.
always have a running back to where he just goes off.
And now it's like, what do you do with Mostert? Like,
Either.
what you still have Mostert, you still have Sermon, you still have like if I was a running back and I got drafted by San Francisco, I'd either be terrified or excited because you're either going to get hurt or you're going to have an
Well,
opportunity.
yeah. I mean, what you're gonna think is if you're meant to be their first running back, you're not gonna be.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna be back down
The
on the
best,
depth chart.
the most consistent running back they had was Frank Gore. Let's be real.
Oh, and consistent he was.
Yes. So you think Elijah Mitchell, if he does not get hurt, is a top 10 running back rest of season?
I don't know about top 10,
Okay.
but I think he could just have too many dud games.
Yeah. Okay. Because yeah, especially if they get behind early, their defense has been playing well. So okay. All right, I can see that. I mean, the Vikings' run defense definitely what isn't the greatest at all. So product of the matchup, but just figured I'd throw it out there. Um, you think, and we talked about it earlier, and we don't have to spend too much time on it. We feel good about the Vikings receivers, both of them, both Thielen and Jefferson.
Always.
Okay.
Every week at this point. I mean, even
Uh,
Conklin almost.
yeah, but I mean
And I know
Jefferson.
he didn't do good, but
Yeah, I mean, Thielen obviously this week had the touchdowns. Jefferson didn't come anywhere near what he did last week, but you kind of expect that when you come off of a game like you had, you're not expected to repeat it the next week.
yeah, of
You're
course.
you're
I
not
just want to
Calvin
make a quick
Johnson.
point too with Adam Thielen because this is the first podcast I'm on ever speaking to anybody whoever's listening. Just don't believe all these so-called experts on fantasy who are telling you Adam Thielen's going to regress because he showed no signs.
No signs, dude. The man's a professional. He goes out there, catches the ball. He runs his routes. He doesn't complain about not getting the ball thrown to him. He goes
Yeah.
out there, knows he's going to get his, and gets it.
At the beginning of the year, everybody, they can't hold two receivers and Dalvin Cook that are fantasy relevant. They did it all year.
He is firmly he's firmly aware that he knows Justin Jefferson is the better receiver. He knows his role. He accepts his role. And
Exactly. I don't know if that's a shot at Stephon Diggs, but
No, I was going to say the same thing about Diggs. Like Diggs was even a better receiver than Thielen, but Thielen knew his role. Like
Mhm.
he's the underneath guy, and he will run deep if he has to, or he'll get open and come back to the quarterback to make his job easier.
Yeah.
Madison, we talked about it earlier. Set it and forget it.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, no, definitely. I think he has the opportunity to be a top 5 back the rest of the season because they just run the ball. I don't know, they run the ball so well. He's so consistent with the first 2 games that he played this year with no like he put up 20 plus points. Guy's just nuts.
Yeah. When do
Um,
they say Dalvin Cook's gonna be back though?
1 to 2 weeks possibly, more so on the 2 week side. So if you need Madison to get in the playoffs, you're very fortunate. I'll tell you that right now.
Mhm.
But the Vikings could also just play spoiler if they lose the next couple games, and then just be like, well, we're going to shut Cook down for next year, and then just roll with Madison. So just keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
no, you're right. I mean, because Cook hurts that shoulder. Like, I mean, they've said that like he like dislocates his shoulder
Yeah,
all
well,
the time.
he has a torn labrum in his other shoulder.
Yeah,
He
it's crazy. Like he's really
That's the
an
only
injury
other.
risk to everything.
I'm never crazy about drafting Dalvin Cook. I'm not crazy about drafting Alvin Kamara, and I'm never crazy about drafting CMC. I wanted in the one league I have Saquon in. I
Basically, you
wanted
wanted to draft towards the end of this year.
yes, I wanted Jonathan Taylor in the one league that I have Saquon in. He went the pick before me, and I was so pissed. I was taking JT if I could have over anybody else. I loved him this year. I could have had Eckler in hindsight, but I just, still it scares me there with him too sometimes because the Chargers running backs have always seen him have injuries. So I try to, but there's certain backs that I will not draft, and I will go with a receiver before I go with those backs. And I told you that I won't. I won't take
Mhm.
Cook. I'll take Henry, but that goes to show you now he's finally human. But again, I feel like he's how many times does he get hurt compared to everybody else? And I know
Oh yeah.
CMC's first 3 seasons. I know CMC's first 3 seasons. He did not get hurt. He played every game.
Oh, that they didn't use him like they use him though.
Yeah, I mean they were. He was getting the ball 300 times, but you know,
He had that 1 year. That was only 1 year.
but the other dud of a game, which I really don't even want to talk about this, but it was played Browns Ravens. Not even touching the Browns. The only thing I want from the Browns is their defense. That's it.
Maybe.
Um, and then the Ravens. Are you worried about the Ravens offense?
You
We're
know, I'm really not.
just load.
I think Lamar Jackson's gonna. He's gonna get it together. I mean, I know he didn't have the best game. Those 4 interceptions. Were they in a row? I wasn't even watching.
They weren't in a row, but they seem like it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was listening to it on the radio coming back from my girlfriend's house, actually.
Oh, dude, it was.
And I was like, another interception. I thought I was hearing like
There
replays.
was 5 turnovers in the last 3 minutes of the game of the first half. It was disgusting.
It's
It was. I would
crazy.
have rather watched the Giants play the Bucks again than watch that game. Um, but yeah, no, and he was coming back from that illness, and I think he probably still had that lingering in him. He was running
It
fine, but
was weird. He got like a random virus.
he was underthrowing receivers. Yeah, no, for sure. I think they'll be fine. I think the players that you want to have there, obviously Lamar. I like Marquise Brown over Bateman still. I don't know why Bateman hasn't been putting up numbers I thought he would be putting up. I did trade him in a dynasty league. I got very lucky to get rid of him because I had both Brown and Bateman, and I traded Bateman for some picks, so I was very happy about that. And Donald Parham from at the tight end from oh no, I got that in a Gasecki trade. Never mind. I think I just got picks. Oh no, I got Melvin Gordon for Bateman and some picks. That's what I did. Um, but yeah, I think you'll be fine. And Devontae Freeman's probably the back to have. He's outplayed Murray and he's looked good. He looked like he did when he was with the Falcons.
Yeah,
They
yeah, and
just
they're just opening up so many holes because everybody's so worried about Lamar Jackson.
yeah. I mean the line is still a little banged up, and he's not been his yards per carry average isn't the greatest, but he's the back that they trust the most there in Baltimore over Murray for sure. I think. And then next year, they have J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill. So everybody in the backfield,
I don't even know what the hell you do.
they're just gonna. Freeman's on a 1 year deal. He'll probably sign with somebody else. He needs a running back next year.
Yeah, with those three though, I mean, come on,
I
all
mean,
three of them got.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, Dobbins had the ACL, but the only godsend about those injuries is they happened in training camp. So
And then they'll
like,
be perfectly fine by the
they'll
off season.
yeah,
Yeah,
by the time they get to a full year of recovery, where Saquon was like 9 months and things like that, they'll be at a full year by the time they start playing preseason games again. So just I want you guys to keep that in mind in redraft leagues and dynasty leagues. Got hurt in like the first couple preseason games in training camp. Okay, so and yes, I drafted J.K. Dobbins before he got hurt. Anyway, and don't forget they have Travis Etienne, Jacksonville. I think that's going to be interesting next year, but we'll talk about that in another episode. Seahawks, Washington, Monday night. Um, Other than the fact that Gibson looked fantastic, looked like he was running really well too with the stress fracture that he's still been having issues with. Apparently, he looked good, and with no McKissick, I think it's a good sign for him, depending on how long McKissick's out for.
Yeah, they took him out in a cart, but then they said, "Oh, he's like week to week."
Yeah, it's weird. But it was the same thing with Cook. He was on a cart and it was his shoulder. So, you know. Um
I'm curious.
Russ, go ahead.
Let's talk about Curtis Samuel for a second.
Snap
You
count,
know,
limited snap count.
I know that I saw that, but how are they going to use him going forward?
Well,
Is it
they'll probably gonna give him one more week of a limited snap count, and then they'll take the training wheels off after the third game, after the second game for game 3.
and is it going to take away from DeAndre Carter?
For sure. But I think it helps Taylor Heineke. You have more options now.
Oh yeah,
And it's gonna help Terry McLaurin because now he's not gonna be the only option.
yeah. Logan
The
Thomas
the
over the
offense is
middle.
just going to get better. The offense with Curtis Samuel, which a lot of people are like, oh, Curtis Samuel, what's Curtis Samuel? Like, dude, he's a talent.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
even
I
when he
mean,
played for Carolina,
oh
like,
yeah.
he was a talent. Like,
He's like a Debo, you know.
yeah, I see what you did there with Samuel. But he is.
Hmm.
He's very talented, very quick, very, home run capability. Where McLaurin is more of your slot receiver, crisp route running, not really going to take a top off. Even though McLaurin's quick and can go deep, that's not his. It's not
His
his.
mo.
Yeah, it's not his forte. But no, I do like Curtis Samuel, and I think that they'll obviously you're not playing Curtis Samuel any this
No,
season. Like if you'd feel bad if you picked him up or you drafted him late because you didn't get to use him. But you're not keeper leagues. Look at them. Dynasty leagues definitely, but redraft leagues, you're not picking him up. You're not touching him because by the time he gets going, it's going to be real football, real playoff football time. Um, Russell Wilson,
it's bad.
do you think it's his finger or do you think it's him?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think he'll get it together in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to play spoiler. He's going to want to show himself that he's going to want to show teams that are going to want him that he can still play. So I think he's going to have a
Oh,
chip on his shoulder. Um, in regards to that, the only fantasy relevant people from last night were Gerald Everett and Tyler Lockett. Dude, DK, what's going on? You worried about DK?
I think you're always worried about DK because he can't get separation.
See, now
Never.
I don't agree with that. There were times he was getting separation last night. There were a couple plays where I was watching the game.
I saw him yell at Russell, but I can't tell with those camera angles and like how far along the play was already, and it looked like he was very much open. But
Even the
you know,
2-point conversion play,
I saw that too.
he broke off. Like
Well, that's why.
I'm like,
Why not try just throwing it up to
he's a
DK?
physical spec. The guy can catch almost anything he can get his hands on. He can come down with. There was the one deep throw he tried throwing to him, but it was a bad throw. It was all sorts of all over the place. But I'm not really too
Yeah.
worried about DK. Like, I just think it's a
Team's
product of the team is bad.
Yeah,
It's just a
team's just.
product of a bad team.
Can we also talk about how Gerald Everett scored a touchdown, tried to do a little bit of a Lambo leap, and then got pushed away by the fans?
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. I was watching that. My father-in-law was over last night. We were watching the game, and
Who's he a fan of?
the Raiders.
He's a Raider fan. That's old school.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? But anyway, well, that was all of the games to review. Real quick before we wrap up, um, what about? And do you have anybody? I have some waiver wire ads. I did a typo. I don't know why I did that typo. I'll go through mine real quick, and you let me know if you like anybody or if you have anybody from yourself. Wait a second. Why did this not? Wait, did I? Oh no, we went over week 11's games. We did the wrong game. No, we didn't. What did I do? I did
Now
the
you did the
wrong.
right thing.
I did the wrong. Why did I? My notes didn't save. That's so weird. Um, All right, I still remember who I want though. That was weird to me. My spreadsheet notes were wrong, guys. Anybody who's watching, I'm sorry. Um, so real quick, I took this. Why I take screenshots. Um, I have Taysom Hill because he's taking first team reps. I have Mac Jones again. So I just think that you want to kind of maybe pick him up, especially more so super flex like we talked about. But you still never know depending on if the quarterback goes down or whatnot. Um, Jamal Williams, Boston Scott because of the Miles Sanders injury and the DeAndre Swift injury. Sony Michelle because of Darrell Henderson injury. Kendrick Bourne because I've been talking about him for weeks. Devontae Parker because he's supposed to come back possibly next week against the Giants. Could be an option. Foster Moreau because Darren Waller went out with an IT strain. And
I didn't even know that. Well, I don't even know what that was.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Never heard of that before.
And Jack Doyle. Is there anything about those guys you don't like? Anything? And Alexander Madison, the obvious.
The obvious one. I kind of like everybody you said. I just want to add, at least in all of my leagues, I believe, Rondell Moore is available. Getting Kyler Murray back. I think he could be a little bit of a sleeper for like a championship thing. That's just my opinion. I'm also a Cardinal fan, so
Yeah, Giants fan first though.
yeah, whatever. And then you always got to think. Daniel Jones loves Sterling Shepard. He's available in most leagues.
Yeah, he should be coming back soon too.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony should be coming back at some point as well. So, if
Yeah.
the offensive line could get healthy, man, they have weapons. So, and Jones hasn't turned the ball over like he used to. Like I say, he's been playing real good football. It just has no offensive line.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we're going to agree to disagree on that. I don't want to get into Daniel Jones.
yeah, we can. That'll be a topic for another day. I want to have a couple different people on. We're gonna do like an actual real sports debate conversation because they were going back and forth about Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. Um, which one's
Oh.
better and whatnot. Um,
What was the verdict on that?
one like Justin Herbert, one liked Joe Burrow.
Well, talent-wise, Joe Burrow, but Justin Herbert's in a great situation.
Yeah, everything's situational. I compared them to because I was using it as a juxtaposition. So I was comparing like Justin Herbert to being like Peyton Manning esque type player. Like he gets it. The arm talent's there. He understands what defenses are doing. And then Joe Burrow is that Tom Brady type. Like he's
Well, he's going to
his
win.
fight exactly. Like he's going to do whatever he has to do to win. He doesn't care. Like obviously there's nobody like Tom Brady and there's nobody like Peyton Manning. But I had used those two names to kind of just compare who they're similar to, who they draw comparisons to from previous generations of football, even though Tom Brady's still playing.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, he is the previous generation.
Yeah, previous generation, the generation before that too. The man's three different careers could be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
But I do want to touch on real quick. I know we talked about it, but for dynasty leagues, something to just think about from a college perspective. Lincoln Riley going over to USC can produce more athletes that'll be NFL ready, as well as bring over transfer players. So just keep an eye on that for next year.
We also
For
did you see his contract?
Yeah, they also bought his two houses in Oklahoma for $500,000 off of asking price. They gave his family a jet, a private plane,
A
and
private jet whenever you want.
they're buying him a $6 million home. Yeah, and I
That
saw
is,
it.
that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
College football.
dude. It's Bob Stoops has got to be like so pissed that he gives this guy this job, and then he goes to USC.
Uh-huh.
But I get it. Oklahoma's going to the SEC soon, so he's going to have to really try to recruit.
Yeah, but he was going to take LSU.
Oh, dude, when USC tells you that they're going to buy both your homes for $1 million,
No, but that's what I'm taking because my thing yesterday before I was for some reason I didn't know because I'm a big Oklahoma guy, but for some reason I didn't know that he was going to take the job at LSU, and then Brian Kelly, blah blah blah. But I thought his reasoning was, Oklahoma's going to get exposed in the SEC. I'm
oh,
going to jump ship before I got to see that. But then when I heard he was taking the LSU job, I'm like, why is he? What's the difference? But then I know the difference now is
yep,
you're getting everything, every amenity possible in life you are now getting.
But I bring this up for multiple reasons, especially keeper and dynasty leagues. Apparently, there's been reports of Urban Meyer possibly going back to college. And there's also been reports of your guy being offered the Oklahoma position.
And he totally wiped that away, though.
Yeah, he didn't say no. He
Yeah, he
dismissed it.
didn't. But I mean, he definitely dismissed it and didn't even think of it as like an option. I mean, you don't go from an NFL team that's literally the one seed, the people could say the best team in the NFL right now,
But dude,
mostly due to the bye week. But
but you could go to a big time college program where you just don't even have to worry about a thing in the world like Nick Saban.
you're right. I mean, you get treated like a god when you're at one of these
You
top
you
programs.
you
But is
call
Oklahoma a top program now in the SEC?
well, I think they still have 1 or 2 years left before they transfer over. But I was just bringing it up from a
It's like
perspective
2024.
of dynasty. If you ever have a chance, CJ, to get into a dynasty league, I think you'd really like it. It's completely different, and like there's a lot of different strategies and scenarios and situations um, going into it. Like, do you want to win now? Do you want to win down the road? You got draft picks, you trade draft picks for play. Like, it's really interesting.
Yeah, one opens up, I'll join, but
Yeah, it's
I don't know
super
how
super.
well. I
But
don't like following things year round.
you want to do a startup though. It's very hard to hop into one that's not a startup because I've been in leagues where you got to take over a team and you're just like, oh, this
Yeah,
is not fun.
the guy already screwed up, and now he's giving you the team.
Yeah, so but we'll see. But that's, like I said, I just wanted to bring that up for that point. And like I said, my Michigan Wolverines trumped Ohio State.
Oh yeah. Oh, finally, good for Harburg.
Dude, they ran for 297 yards. Hassan Haskin, bro.
Yeah, good for
Take
him.
note. And I also bring that up because a lot of mock drafts are happening right now, and a lot of people have Aiden Hutchinson as the number 1 overall pick.
He is good.
Dude,
I
guy's
mean,
a
especially after
freak.
this year, 'cause I don't even think anybody had him
He was
in like.
projected to be a top, like a first or second round, maybe a
Yeah,
third at the
but we had him top
worst.
5.
Now nobody had him top 5, and
I always thought it was crazy how things change like that in college.
even
Like
David
Joe Burrow.
Ajobo,
Yeah,
he wasn't even on radars to get drafted, and now he's going to be in the first round.
college football is crazy.
Crazy. New Jersey guy, by
Yeah,
the way. Just saying.
yeah. Michigan has always had good Jersey guys. They
They
always want to
did.
go there.
Jabril
Jabril
Peppers.
Peppers, man.
Yes.
Played against him in high school.
Good. I know you beat him for Player of the Week, didn't you, or something like that? Didn't
Uh,
didn't you outvote him for
yeah,
Player of the Week?
that might have been one of. Yeah, no, it was. It was. I
Yeah.
did. But that was a voting thing. I don't even think anybody
Yeah.
even voted for him. He just didn't care.
No, because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I was quite the ball player back in the day, guys.
Yeah, and we'll let that. We'll at that point we're gonna wrap up the show. Guys, I appreciate it. CJ, thank you again. This was fantastic. I thought this was awesome. Definitely got to do this more often if you're free. Like I said, usually Tuesdays and Fridays, I try to get the episodes out. So I know
Yeah,
Fridays you're a little bit younger, the
yeah,
girlfriend, you want to hang
yeah.
out with her. I get it.
Yeah, got a lot of stuff going on, and then we're doing your wedding. So
Yeah, that's gonna coming up in 38 days. 38 days. Wedding and a birthday. Just talked to the DJ today. So, happens to be on my 32nd birthday. So see what happens.
nice.
But yeah, guys, CJ, like I said, I appreciate it. Thank you again so much. We'll be in touch. And guys, thank you again. This was, like I said, week 12, the week episode week 12 review and waiver wire talk. Guys, I hope you have a good one. We'll be back Friday or Saturday, like I said. Have a great week, and you'll be hearing from us soon. Later.
See you guys.